There's a whole bunch of expert psychologists and people that are good at understanding the psychology of human nature, and they understand how powerful sexual energy is and the emotional drive that we have as human beings to sexually express. And they look at this data that they have because our phones, our computers, it's riddled with our data, and they think to themselves when they're looking at this, they're like, this has been getting the most clicks, so this is how we're going to attract more of these people. Sex sells, but at the cost of what? Welcome to another podcast. I'm so glad you decided to join me on today's podcast. I have a very special one for you guys. This one might challenge your existing beliefs, and it might even make you feel uncomfortable. But nonetheless, I say these things all from a place of love and a place of having experienced what exactly is going on with the society that we live in today, as well as how that plays a huge role in our development and our journey towards freedom and wealth creation. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to harness your sexual energy and direct it towards the creation of wealth. Now, I want to start off with the main problem in this society that we live in today, and really that just starts with how there's all these corporations, all these companies that are quite literally harvesting our energy and profiting off of you and I. How do I know this? Well, let's take a look at everything that is on the media today. For example, let's take a look at all these ads that are running on YouTube. I remember I posted something on my story about how I had this ad pop up, and it was basically just 4 pictures of this female bunny thing, and it had like emphasis on her body parts that were just quite literally put in our faces. And it was the sick part is that this was some sort of ad campaign for a game that kids play. So quite literally, they are targeting our sexual desires, our need for sexual expression, and they're using that against us to profit off of us. Now, you guys might think I'm crazy for saying all these things, or that I'm like over the top, but there's a whole bunch of expert psychologists and people that are good at understanding the psychology of human nature, and they understand how powerful sexual energy is and the emotional drive that we have as human beings to sexually express. And they look at this data that they have because our phones, our computers, it's riddled with our data, and they think to themselves when they're looking at this, they're like, this has been getting the most clicks, so this is how we're going to attract more of these people. Sex sells, but at the cost of what? Have you ever asked yourself this? What is it going to take? Our humanity? Our morals? Our principles? I didn't hop on this podcast to complain to you guys or to just tell you what the problems in our society really is, but overall, I'm here to bring a solution to this massive problem that we have, especially when it comes to how men are today, how our society is. We have a pandemic of men that can't do things for themselves and don't have the energy to go after the things that they want to in life, because everywhere we look, everything is over sexualized. I can't even blame these guys because they can't even hop on their phones for 2 seconds without seeing something that's blown up and somebody's body parts are all over their face. It's insane. And I feel genuinely bad for the generation of kids that are coming up, especially if you go on TikTok. It's so bad. It's a freaking warfare out there. I have to literally, as soon as I hop on TikTok to post something, I have to quite literally just start tapping to get to my home screen before I see anything that'll potentially trigger me. And I only really hop on these things just so I can post. I use TikTok as a means of being a creator, not a consumer. There's a difference. And this is a perfect segue into the solution that I have for this over-sexualized and overstimulated society. We as a collective must develop awareness in regards to our intention and attention. What do I mean by this? I've learned from my mentor that our intentions towards what it is that we're doing in this life plays a huge role on where we could potentially end up at. For example, if my intentions of making this podcast was not aligned with me wanting to give value, me wanting to add value to your guys' life, the energy of what I'm putting out, it would not directly correlate with me wanting to add value to you guys. You guys would feel that energy. If our intentions in life, it's always thinking about sexual thoughts on a daily basis, then it will be ridiculously hard for us to use that sexual energy to direct it towards other means. Our intentions have to be directly aligned with what we want to get out of this life. If it's not aligned with what we want in this life, then that's where we can start. You have to think about what you're thinking on a day-to-day basis, and you have to develop awareness in regards to what that is so that you can align your intentions with where you want to get to in life, or the type of person that you want to be. The second superpower that we have is our attention. What we decide to give our power to. Attention can come in all forms of different things. It can come in the form of you giving attention to this podcast, soaking in what I'm saying. It can come in the form of us scrolling on social media, giving attention towards the device or the media, consuming content via music, YouTube videos, you name it. What we choose to give our attention to is going to directly correlate what we are cultivating in our life. If we're always giving our attention to education that'll help move the needle for us, then that type of action compounds over time. Same way that if we're waking up first thing in the morning and the first thing we do is hop on Instagram, we're already giving away our superpower to this device. And people wonder why they can't get anything done, or why they have no energy to go after the things that they want to, because they're giving away their superpowers. You're literally giving away your power. We have to develop awareness in regards to our intentions and our attention. This is one of the key components that I've learned that has allowed me to elevate, and that has allowed me to live free, to have wealth in my life. And this was one of the main reasons I was able to get here. I remember there was a point in my life where I was so lost. And the only reason I say these things is because I was that guy. I was that guy that would literally not wake up until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. First thing I would do is just hop on social media, start scrolling, seeing what everybody's story is, seeing what's going on with everybody else. And then I would get ready 30 minutes before my shift at Starbucks, and I would have absolutely no drive to go do anything else outside of just working this job and paying my bills. And there was nothing outside of that that allowed for me to cultivate what it is that I wanted to get out of this life, what I wanted to create. So as soon as I started developing an awareness for my intention and attention, then I was able to direct my superpower towards different avenues that would help move the needle for what I wanted to get done. Of course, I didn't figure it out all the way. It took years for me to understand what I wanted out of this life. And it's the crazy thing is not everybody is ready for that. Not everybody is ready to hear, if you want to live a life of freedom and if you want to create wealth in your life, then it's going to take years, maybe even a decade, for you to actually get results. Not everybody is ready to hear that. But I'm here to tell you that life, while we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, life is not promised for us. Every single day we risk losing our life, this one shot that we have. Life is long. Despite that, life is long. So don't put what you want out of this life away until it's too late. When I used to bartend, I remember the folks that would come in, all of these people that wanted to come in for drinks, always just wanted somebody to talk to. I remember how I would ask these older gentlemen, is there anything that you wanted to do in this life now that you're older? Is there something you wish you could have done? And they always tell me, man, I wish I could have done this when I was younger. I wish I would have just started this business. I wish I would have just gone after this creative. I wish I would have done this. And it's such a recurring theme in all of these guys that I asked, that it started to click in my mind, although I didn't know it at the time. But we're just supposed to work until we're old and until we're in our 50s, 60s. Then we can maybe retire, and then maybe we won't have to get a retirement job to go afford going on vacations once every 3 months. Like, that's no way to live. I don't know about you guys, but that's no way to live. We have to stop giving away our power, and we instead have to use it for ourselves. And the different things that we can direct this sexual energy towards is, well, we have our purpose, we have our health, we have our mind, our knowledge, our spirit, and then we have our finances. If you can direct your intention and attention towards these different aspects of your life, over time, it won't happen overnight, I promise you. But over time, you'll start to see a massive shift in the way you walk, talk, and carry yourself. The way you go after what you want in this life, because you just have so much vigor to use in your disposal. Don't give in to these lower levels of thinking. That's exactly how the society that we live in wants you to think, because you're more prone to manipulation that way. Because you see something triggering online and it's like, dang, all right, now I gotta go freaking hop on the hub because now I can't stop thinking about this. Okay, now you don't have any sexual energy. Now the next time you hop on social media and they're trying to market something to you, you're like, you don't have any room in your brain to think for yourself. I promise you guys, we will not become wealthy if we are a slave to our lower self. We have to learn how to operate from our higher self. This is why I always talk about having and building this relationship with God, with the Creator. Because through the Creator, we're able to channel how to operate from our higher self. We're able to have guidance on what needs to happen next in our lives in order to live a sovereign lifestyle, so that we're not manipulated and controlled on a day-to-day basis by the things that we see in this world. Because there's no fighting that. There's always going to be all these sexual innuendos and marketing tactics. It's always going to be there. You know, that's something we can't control. It's outside of our control. But what's inside our realm of control is how we direct our intention and attention. To wrap this up, guys, we have to align knowledge and action in order to manifest what we want in the three-dimensional realm. It can't just stay in the four-dimensional realm where it's just an idea, it's just a thought. No, we have to take action. We have to literally create it. That's why in this life we are the co-creators of our reality, and the Creator uses us and channels His divine thoughts, His divine ideas through us, and we're able to manifest it in this three-dimensional realm. Even now, I think I'm making this podcast for you guys. That's what my ego wants to say. But really, I can't even take credit for any of this stuff because I'm just allowing God to work through me. This is all God speaking through me to you guys. That's what my whole mission is about. Just serving God, serving others, being in service to others. All of these things that I've told you guys are literally a byproduct of me just experiencing life, being in this human meat suit as a spiritual being, living a human experience. Once you understand our superpower in this life, you will then have the ability to channel your sexual energy to create wealth that will literally change your life. And that's a big freaking thing. That's no small feat.